Okay. Hey teammates, welcome back to Teaching with Tania. I cannot believe it is literally halfway through the school year. Like, we just finished quarter 2 and it has went by super fast. I know some people are like, teaching is like whatever. Like, this is literally a dream come true. The fact that I get to meet my third graders every day, walk them upstairs, teach them, have conversations with them, I literally don't take it for granted. And I know some people are like, it's just a job or whatever, but when you look at teaching as ministry, like, it changes your whole perspective of what we're called here to do. And I feel like it just speaks more volume when you have a connection with your students and you just know what they're capable of. So every day I feel like I have to wake up every day to make sure they reach their fullest potential. That being said, today was actually really hard. One of my students, he's actually a really great student, is leaving us. He's going to transferring to another school, and it was like, wow, you just found that out. And to see that kid, like, that's your last day seeing them, and it's like you have nothing to do about it, like, it definitely hits home. So if I seem a little down, it's because I did lose a great student today. All my students are great, but just to see one of them go definitely hurts my heart. Anyways, I'm trying not to be sad today. It's definitely going to hit me when I get home. But let's just talk about what I learned in quarter 2. If you haven't seen what I learned in quarter 1, I would definitely recommend you going to see that, because some things may carry over and then some things are just totally new. So it's like building upon each other, if you know what I mean. So I learned that and this, and I've been able to implement what I learned in quarter 1 here now in quarter 2. How much you are expected to do as a teacher. They want you to do this, this, and this. Oh, and on top of while you're juggling all that, make sure this student's okay. Make sure that this student has what they need. And then, these don't fit into your contract hours, but go ahead and do this, this, and this. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I literally just had to take a week off and do nothing outside of contract hours, because it will drain you. Comment down below if you want me to do like what's on my teacher to-do list, because it's quite ridiculous. But nevertheless, we do it because we love our students. If you see me looking down, it's because I wrote a lot of things down and I just don't want to repeat myself. So the second thing I learned is to put things that the students' eye level. You're always needed as a teacher, but where was I at? Oh, putting things at eye level for students. Some of you guys may already know this, but me as a first year teacher, I just didn't, especially because I'm a taller female. So the fact that I can see this, my students can't reach it. So make sure you put everything that you want your students to be able to use, manipulate, go and get at their disposal, or whatever they feel like it. Go ahead and put it at their level so that they can see it. The third thing I learned is to do it now. As a teacher, I know it may be easy to put things off, or really procrastination at its finest. And I've learned that due dates come way faster than you may even imagine. So for example, my student learning plans, I procrastinated on them. I should have went ahead and did it now. Like, do things now when they're supposed to be done, instead of if for example, if a due date is 2 weeks out and you just do it the day before, like, let me tell you, it could be a little stressful. And you also may need student input or even parent input, and it's hard to do that within 24 hours. So go ahead and whatever is on your to-do list, make sure you get it done as soon as possible so that things don't linger on and pile up. The fourth thing I learned is that everybody does not come to work. Take that how you want it, but you would think we're all here to do a job. Some people do that job and some people don't. So that's another thing to be aware of. The fifth thing I learned is that teaching takes time and repetition. Like, you may teach one time and want your students to automatically get it. And unfortunately, 99% of the time, that's not how it works. You're either gonna have to reinforce it the next day, or even stay on that concept for like a week to do teach, reteach, practice, even a small group for the students that are still not getting it. The sixth thing I've learned, mind you, these are not in any order, is that if you're not organized, your students will be organized either. And in quarter 2, I got super organized, super details. Thankfully, it helped after winter break. If you haven't seen my reset video, go ahead and check that out, because that's when I organized the most, because I already knew what I needed, or what I thought that I needed, and where I need to put things. So I was wondering, like, why my students can't find this, can't find this, can't find this. And it's like, well, I wasn't the best at being organized either. So once I got my life together and organized after the reset, that really helped my students become organized. Like, hey, Miss, she's talking about this paper, boom, I can go ahead and get this paper out, as opposed to, I can't find it, it's in my mailbox, my binder, who knows? you know, in the trash can, you know. So make sure that you're organized so that your students can be organized. I had to learn that the hard way. The seventh thing that I had to come to realize and that I learned in the second quarter is that we're just planting seeds. We're just planting seeds, especially like K through 5th educators, pre-K through 5th educators. You're not gonna see the reward or the benefits of your work, especially now that that student is leaving and definitely hits home. Now that I'm recording this video, I'm not gonna cry. Not gonna cry. Okay. We're just planting seeds as educators, and we may see them grow. Some of them we may not see others grow, but the fact that we're just depositing a bunch of seeds is going to pay dividends in that child's life over time. For example, teaching them how to read. Like, I'm an ELA teacher, so I may not see everything come together that I'm just planting and pouring my heart out every day, but eventually it will come, whether it's the next grade or even when they get to middle school or high school. And at the end of the day, I want it to be a great harvest for my students and their lives and their families' lives and generations to come. That's why I do what I do. The 8th lesson that I learned is that positive reinforcement goes a super long way. This could be positive reinforcement or just building a child up. I feel like sometimes a kid could go a whole week without hearing something positive about them. For example, this kid may hear, you need to do this better, you need to do this better. Hey, you're not doing this right, you're not doing this right. Like, that could be draining for a kid. So I remember I was just so tough on one of my students, and I told them one good thing, and it was like their face just lit up from ear to ear because they are not used to being talked about in a positive light. And I realized that I need to be doing a lot more building up my students, making sure they know I do affirmations every day, what they can do, what they're capable of, but just pointing out one little detail in that day that they may not realize about themselves could go a super long way. And I want my students to know, like, yes, everybody has strengths and weaknesses, but you're amazing, and that's your superpower. And I think that I had to learn as a teacher in the second quarter is that if you don't teach them, they won't know. Sometimes I was even guilty of this in like the first quarter. If I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my other video, but if you don't teach them, like, they literally won't know. For example, today we went in to start typing, and we started typing our essays on the computer. In my school, they have never had to do that. Some students haven't had to. Also, like, where to put a space bar after every word, or even a sentence, where to put a period, or how to start a new paragraph. Like, they never knew these things, and for me, it comes automatic, and it's like they're just starting from scratch. So if I don't teach them, like, they literally won't know. And the more grade levels they go through and I don't teach them, or this isn't explicitly taught, it's going to be harder for them to catch up. So that's another thing I realized, like, if I don't teach them, they don't know, like, how to be organized, how to keep a binder, how to put their stuff back where they had it. Last but not least, I've had to learn this with my teaching and pacing as well, is to set timers for everything. Set a time for everything, a hard stop. I know I mentioned this in another video, but now that I've been implementing it, it has been a lifesaver, and my students know, oh, is it time for this? Is it time for that? Like, they already know, like, once this timer goes off, I know I need to get on the carpet. Once this timer goes off, I know I need to be on a dot, ready to go. Set timers for everything. And I've realized timers are only for myself, they're for my students. If they know what's going on, it's an easier, quicker transition, as opposed to, oh, the timer's off, what do I do? Or where do I put my stuff, you know? Hey guys, Editing Tania here. I totally forgot to tell you, in quarter 2, I was Teacher of the Month for December. So apparently I was doing something right. And it's crazy that I've only been teaching since August, and I have seen a lot of growth in my students. So keep planting those seeds and doing what you do best as a teacher. Those are the things that I've learned in quarter 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to create a great day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.